You're listening to a New York Yankees episode of the Jacob Valk Show. He's breaking down the team's latest goings-on as only he can. Follow him on Twitter at RealJacobValk. Here he is, Jacob Valk.
Hello, Yankees fans! Welcome to another New York Yankees episode of the Jacob Valk Show. I am the Jacob Valk, and you're not. Let me start by saying that all is right in Yankees land. They just swept a really good White Sox team. They took 3 out of 4 from the Rangers in Arlington. They've won 7 straight series. The slow start that they got off to, 6-11, no one remembers it. I mean, let's be honest, the Yankees right now are playing like a team that could win the World Series. Their pitching has been absolutely phenomenal. I don't think I have ever seen a Yankees rotation as good as this one. For the first time in Yankees history, their starters pitched 5 scoreless innings in 5 consecutive starts. Garrett Cole is the best pitcher in baseball. Corey Kluber looks like the Kluber of old. The guy just threw a no-hitter. Domingo Germán has gotten his act together. Jordan Montgomery has gotten his act together. I'm higher on Taillon than most. I do like him. Maybe he's not the 2 starter that the Yankees wanted him to be, but he's a solid pitcher. He's better than Paxton. Let's put it that way. I don't know if he's better than Tanaka. I've got to see how Taillon pitches in the postseason, but at this very moment, Taillon is better than Paxton. Let's see if Taillon can stay healthy. The bullpen has been amazing. Aroldis Chapman just gave up his first earned run yesterday. That's okay. Chapman wasn't going to go through the year with a .00 ERA. Come on. That's not going to happen. Would you have liked the run to have been given up in not a 1-run game? Yes, but it didn't matter because Liam Hendricks did his best Kenny Rogers impression. Threw a walk-off walk. Very bad managing by Tony La Russa, let me say that. Hendricks should have started the 9th. On Friday, La Russa did something similar. He left Evan Marshall out to pitch the 9th inning. He gave up 3 straight singles. Sunday, very similar. Aaron Bummer stays in to start the 9th. Clint Frazier hits a leadoff single. He steals second. LeMahieu gets intentionally walked. Tyler Wade hits an infield single. And then Liam Hendricks gives up the walk-off walk. It's fine that Chapman gave up that home run. You can get upset about it. At the time, that's fine, but Yankees got the win. That's all that matters. The Yankees have won 6 straight. They're only a half game behind the Red Sox and Rays for first place in the AL East. And they've got a series coming up with the Red Sox soon. June 4th to June 6th. That's going to be a very big series. You look at the lineup, though, there are still some issues. The outfield, with the exception of Judge, is a big black hole. The infield is fine. I'm fine with Voit at first, LeMahieu at second, Torres at short, and Urshela at third. I'm fine with Rougned Odor. I have no complaints with the infield. I don't like Mike Ford, but you don't see him a lot. The catching situation in a perfect world would be better, but I'm okay with the platoon that the Yankees have. It seems to be working. I really have no complaints. But the outfield, again, with the exception of Judge, who's playing like an MVP candidate, is just a big black hole. Hallelujah, Clint Frazier got 3 hits yesterday. He's still hitting 171. Aaron Hicks is hurt again. You know, there have been a lot of Yankees who I've hated over the years. Esteban Loaiza, Tanyan Sturtz, Carl Pavano, Paul Quantrill, Sidney Ponson, etc., etc. But they've all been pitchers. There's never really been a position player that I've really despised. The one exception maybe being Stephen Drew. I feel like every Yankees fan on earth hated Stephen Drew. I feel like I hate Hicks more than I ever hated Drew. $10 million a year. And he always gets hurt. Here's hoping the Yankees have insurance. I mean, that Hicks contract is going to go down as one of the worst in baseball very soon. $10 million a year for an injury-prone outfielder. I can get hurt playing baseball. I can get hurt playing baseball very easily. Give me $10 million. Hicks is useless. Absolutely useless. Brett Gardner seems to be turning it around a little bit, but it's still not great. Miguel Andujar, maybe there's something there, but I don't know. It's tough. It's really, really tough. I've said this before about the Yankees. They have a big issue with their depth. I mean, I understand that Mike Tauchman isn't setting the world on fire with the Giants, but he's better than Ryan Lamar. I'll say that. He's better than Frazier. He's better than Hicks. There was an interesting rumor that came out that said that the Yankees were talking to the Rangers about Delino DeShields Jr. That comes from Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic. Andujar in left. DeShields in center, Judge in right. I don't mind it. I think Andujar can turn it around. I'd be lying to you if I said I was 100% confident in him, but hey, I have more confidence in Andujar than Frazier. I mean, DeShields isn't a bad player. Last year for the Indians, he had .252 with no homers and 7 RBIs. He did lead the American League in sacrifice hits with 4. In 2019, he had .249 with 4 homers and 32 RBIs. He had 24 steals. There's a role for DeShields in the league. He's really not a bad player. Not a great player. But if you can get DeShields for cheap, sure. I'd have no problem with it. He gives the Yankees some speed, a guy who can move runners over, gets on base at a decent clip. Just don't trade Pedro Martinez for him. In case you don't get that reference, Delino DeShields' father was traded from the Expos to the Dodgers for Pedro Martinez. Pedro Martinez actually came up as a Dodger, was a reliever for them. When he got to the Expos, he became a starter and started his journey to the Hall of Fame. I mean, Brian Cashman has been aggressive in the early goings of the season. He traded for Odor. He traded Tauchman. Sure, bring in DeShields. He fits the Yankees, perfectly. And let me just say this. Going back to the infield for a sec. There were some people that were ready to give up on Gleyber Torres. Maybe those were the same people that told me that Clint Frazier would turn into a good outfielder. All Frazier is a good defender. That's it. That's all he is. 1 3-hit game doesn't make a good outfielder. So if you believed in Frazier, maybe you didn't believe in Torres. I never didn't believe in Torres. I mean, I love Torres. Gleyber Torres can and will be a part of the next World Series winning Yankees team. In his last 8 games, he has hit .452 with 2 homers and 11 RBIs. He got off to a bad start. There's no question. But now he's righted the ship. He's hitting .282. He has 18 RBIs. He has a .363 on base percentage. And let me ask you a question, okay? If Gleyber Torres were to finish the year with about 15 home runs, but kept the average at .280 and got 75 RBIs, would that bother you? Would that make you say that Gleyber Torres isn't a good player? In fact, let's knock it down. Let's say 70 RBIs. But he keeps the .280 average. He keeps the .360 on base percentage. That would mean you're willing to give up on Torres because he didn't hit a lot of home runs? No! After his sophomore year, did you expect him to become a perennial 30 home run hitter? Yes. But it's not a bad thing if he doesn't turn into that. If he still hits for a high average, gets on base, drives runners in, and plays solid defense, that's okay. That's perfectly fine. I mean, I guess DJ LeMahieu's a bad player, right? He's hitting .260. He only has 3 home runs. Yeah, let's get rid of him. Let's get rid of Gio Urshela. He only has 5 home runs. Doesn't matter that he's hitting .277. Gleyber Torres is one of the best shortstops in all of baseball. There are very few players that I would rather have than him. I hope he spends his entire career with the Yankees. All the scouts that raved about him when he was with the Cubs and couldn't believe that the Yankees got him in the Chapman trade have been proven right. Gleyber Torres is a great young infielder. He could be an all-star this year. You can't say enough good things about Torres. He is an incredible ball player. You'll get another New York Yankees show next week. Regular episodes of the Jacob Valk Show come your way every weekday afternoon. Until next time, I am Jacob Valk saying that I don't want to be traded. My flowers just came up, my shrubbery looks good, and my grass is really seeded well. To leave all that would be very devastating.